Alright, this is our Scratch tutorial number 2. Today we'll be going over the all-important reset code as well as the motion category and the looks category. Now, as we go through this, remember that the sprites are only going to do what you instruct them to do. They read the code, the blocks, from the script area and do exactly what they're told. So sometimes we can wonder why our sprites are acting in a certain way. Well, they're doing exactly what we instruct them to in this area. So we must read carefully. That's part of the reason why we do a reset code, is so if we mess up and give it some strange code that makes it do something that we weren't expecting, we can just hit a button and simply reset and try again. So to start a reset code, we need to go up to Events. We're going to grab when space key pressed. Now this tells our cat here that when we hit the space bar, we want something to happen. Okay, so what do we want to happen? We're going to go over to Motion and grab the go to X0, Y0. Now, when we hit the space bar, that means our cat is going to go to X coordinate 0, Y coordinate 0, because that's where it's starting from. If we look over here, X0, Y0, that's where we want it to be. Now, wherever we move our cat, we can hit the space bar. The cat will return to the X0, Y0 coordinate. Now, if we were to tell it to turn a certain degrees, I clicked that a couple times and made it move. We can move it. When I hit the spacebar, what do you think is going to happen? That might not be what you intended to happen. You probably wanted it to go back to 0, 0, but being faced the proper way. Remember, the sprite is only going to do what we instructed it to do. We didn't tell it to turn here at all when we hit the space bar. We just told it to go to 0, 0. So if we want it to point in a certain direction, guess what we have to add to our reset code? Point in direction 90. Now, if we move it, click the space bar, it should go back to normal. When we want to get rid of scripts or of blocks, we can grab them, drag them back over into the middle. So here is our reset code. Go to 0, 0 and point in direction 90. For everything that we're going to do in the motions, that should basically take care of. Now we're going to add a little bit to our reset code when we go into looks, but we'll get into that a little later. Let's add a background to our project. I'm going to scroll all the way down. Here, we'll grab this grid. Alright, so we got changed to the backdrops tab. To get back to our scripts, we can hit scripts. Now as you notice, I had several people asking me, well, there's no motion. How am I supposed to tell my sprites how to move now? Well, remember when you change the backdrop or you change anything, you have to select the sprite again. And once you do that, the motions will come back. Alright, so let's look at the first one. Move 10 steps. This is a pretty common one. If you click on it, it will move him 10 steps. Now as we notice, moving 10 steps is not that much. So if we want to increase that, we can do 100. As we click it, we see that it goes a much farther distance. Now it's only going to go as far as it can go. Now if we want to reset it, we hit our space bar. It goes right back. Alright, so let's see what happens when we turn it. It's turning 15 degrees. Every time we click it, it's going to turn another 15 degrees. We can increase that. Go to 180. As we click it, we see it turns it all the way around. We can click it again, do another 180, another 180. We can also turn it the opposite direction. Point in direction, you have For point in direction, we have several options. We can make it point to the right. As we click this, it points to the right. We can make it point to the left as we click it. Now, as you notice, it doesn't switch the way the cat is facing, it just turns him all the way to the left. We'll deal with how to make him face the left here in a minute. We can make him face up, which is up that way, and we can make him face down. Alright, this is especially important because when we take the move steps, the cat is only going to move in the direction he is currently facing. So let's give him 50 steps. So when we click that, he moves in that direction. Now, if we were to take him and face him to the left and did that, he would go 50 back. There, we make him face up. So if you wanted to navigate, hit the spacebar, reset him. If you wanted to navigate your cat up to this position here without having to just drag him, you would have to do some sort of code like point in direction 0, which will cause him to face upward, move 50 steps, well, probably a little bit more than 50 steps, maybe 150 steps. That's a little much. And then he's still facing a weird direction. Then we would have him point back in direction 90, which would put him back to the right. So we're going to hit the spacebar to reset him and try this out. Alright, now you might say, well, he should have turned up, moved 150 steps, then turned back. With computers, this is all happening simultaneously. So if you want to see it broken down, we can do this. Okay, spacebar to reset. That's what's really happening. But we don't get to see it unless we put those weights in there. Alright. The next type of motion is point towards mouse. So if we want our when we activate it, if we want our cat to move in the direction of the mouse, we can do that. Let's say, well, 10 steps is fine. Event when we do that, and then we're going to start it. If you saw, he moved just 10 steps towards my mouse. If we wanted to make it a little bit more interesting, we can come here and go stick forever on it. Okay, now we start it. So what's happening is we're saying, I'm going to stop this now, when we click the green flag, forever he's going to move 10 steps towards wherever the mouse is pointing. So here we go. He's chasing the mouse. Cat chasing the mouse. How ironic. Alright. Let's hit the spacebar to kind of reset. Alright, so this command is go to X and Y coordinate. If you have a specific X and Y coordinate that you want the cat to go to, then you can punch that in. So if I wanted him to go to 0 and 180, I could do that. 0, 180. Whenever this is clicked, he goes there. Hit spacebar to reset him. Okay, and we can set that for any coordinate. So if I wanted him to go, let's say from the top to the bottom to the right to the left, I could certainly do that. I just add 4 of these in here. Okay, so that's the top. Then our coordinate down here is 0 and negative 180. 0. The right is 240 and 0. And then the left is 0 and 240. So if I stack all these together here, reset them, I'm going to click this. that's, you might say, that's weird, he ended up there. But once again, let's hit our spacebar to reset. We can grab the wait 1 second, put that there, and then watch him as he goes. Without the wait 1 second, he will just do everything all at the same time, and that's not helpful to us. Alright, the next command is the glide. So I'm going to bring him back home. The glide, let's say we want him to glide to this corner here. Now, I can always look at the bottom part right here where it tells us the X and Y coordinates. And when I move my cursor there, it says it's 186 and 120. So we can go 186 and 120. And then how fast do we want him to glide there? In 1 second? Sure, let's see how fast that is. Okay, that's decent. Hit spacebar to reset. Alright, so we can do it even slower. Make it 3 seconds. Alright, we can make it 0.3 seconds if we wanted to. Spacebar to reset. There, he moves fast. So that's the glide. We can change him in the X direction by 10. So that means he's not going to move in the Y direction wherever he's at. He's going to move the X 10. You can always make that more or less. This is a command similar to the go to X and Y, except for it's only half of it. So it only deals with go to X. So if I have him here, I'm going to say go to X 0. It's going to make his X value 0. If I put him here, say X 0, it's going to put him there at 0. So instead of putting in an X and Y coordinate, it just deals with the X. And then this command here is just the Y. So you can set that to Y 100, and wherever he is on the X, he will go to Y 100, which is right here. This line right there. So if he's over here, it won't do anything with the X coordinate, it'll just change the Y coordinate. Alright, and then you have some other more interesting commands. If on the edge bounce, so for example, if I grabbed this one here, move 10 steps, we're going to grab that forever repeat, and then an event when the flag is clicked. If we put those together, there we go. Our guy's bouncing off the edges. If we want to make this a little bit more interesting looking, we can turn him. We can say turn 15 degrees while you're doing that. Well, remember they only do what you tell them to, and I told him to turn 15 degrees forever, so that's all he's doing. Here, I'm just going to set it like that. Oh, that wasn't very fun. There we go. He's kind of bouncing off the edges in a odd angle. And if you wanted to speed him up, you could by changing the steps and whatnot. Alright, so that's going to be... oh, yes, we do have one more command here for the rotation style. Alright, so I'm going to hit spacebar to reset him. So this is the rotation style from right to left. If you want to change the way the cat is facing, you can do 180 degrees, and then rotation style is right to left. That means if you click on the information, all of them are automatically set to the rotation style all the way around, so they'll rotate in that way. What this does is it means it rotates from right to left, so this time when you do 180, instead of just turning him, it will actually face him the opposite direction. So at that point you can do move steps, 50, and it will move him in that direction. To get it back to the opposite direction, you can just click it again. So that will cause it to rotate back and forth like that instead of